Hello, everyone. Let's spend a little time thinking about flipping the classroom. The question I'm posing, though, is but how much do we want to do that? Now, you may not want to flip the classroom at all, but certainly teaching a hybrid course and delivering content online really is flipping the classroom in some sense. So it's a necessity because of the design of a hybrid course. So I want to think about how much do I want to do that? How much content do I want to deliver online? How much content do I want to deliver face to face? How is that interaction blend going to look? All right. So um, the flipped classroom, just to briefly define it, is, and you can see in this graphic the idea that it's flipped upside down. It's not really that so much, but it's more that students, instead of being delivered the content face to face and then going home and thinking about it and working on it and doing the homework, they'll be delivered the content at their home space on their computer. They'll be most likely on the computer being looking at the content. You're delivering the content many times, like I am right now with the YouTube video. And then when they come to the classroom, that's when they're doing the exercises and doing the practice and asking the questions that are so important. I'm going to have you watch a brief video from another author's perspective about the flipped classroom. Okay, so welcome back. I want to bring this quote into the mix. So it says, some research has shown that a flipped classroom does not result in higher learning gains or better attitudes compared to a non-flipped classroom when both classes use active and constructivist learning techniques. So I guess another way that I think about this, and I like this quote, is that well, a flipped classroom will not solve all the woes of education. It will not turn a class that has poor success into suddenly this magical experience where everybody's just loving it. Notice that it doesn't say that it doesn't, but the essence of this quote is that if a class uses an active and constructivist learning technique, we can have success. Constructivism is an educational approach that highlights the importance of students actively participating in their learning process. I like to think that my classroom does exhibit a lot of that, but I know that I can always have and have much need for growth. So instead of simply coming to the class and absorbing information, they're encouraged to think about their experiences, their own ideas, what they already bring to the table, and integrate that into the new information that I'm presenting in the content. I happen to teach mathematics, so what I'm trying to do is make mathematics sense-making experience where they can think about what they already know mathematically and they can tie that into the new concept, right? That's constructivist, right? It builds upon the learning that they've already done. Whatever your content is, they're going to have some information, some knowledge that they bring, and you want to integrate that. It makes a more profound and meaningful understanding of the material. So that being said, when they have an online experience in your hybrid course, there's going to still need to be some sense making that takes place, some opportunity for them to connect to what you're saying and tie it to what they already know. All right. So I went and asked, of course, Chat GPT in my room. This is my bedroom here, as you can tell. In Carruthers, this is what it looks like where I live. So I asked ChatGPT, "Hey, ChatGPT, what are some of the advantages of teaching um, in a flipped classroom model?" And so I asked for 20, and here they are. Don't you can pause this video, but I was like, okay, that's too much. That's too much, ChatGPT. So I went and searched for an article instead, and I think that we can come up with our own advantages. And I've already asked you a little bit about what you think the pros and cons might be. So here is an article excerpt from an article. You can see the at the bottom where the link is, the 8 benefits of a flipped classroom. And I want to give you a moment to read through these 8 and think about which one do you most that speaks to you the most, and which one may not speak to you as much. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to look at that. I want to talk just briefly about number 5, right? Which is teachers can reuse the content they create. If we're delivering content in the classroom again and again and again, semester after semester after semester, if we capture that, encapsulate that, put it online, right? We can reuse that content and add to that, subtract to it, change it if it needs to be updated. But we're not always just busy delivering the same content, but we're more focused on what do students know and not know, and how can we make their learning experience the best possible in the classroom. So now that we've talked a little bit about flipped learning, I want you to think about, but how much? But how much is the question, right? I posed that question at the start, but we haven't really addressed it. So the course that I'm looking at for this hybrid academy is a Math 45 class that I'm teaching on a Friday. I teach that class for about 2 hours. It's a 3 in a course. And so that means I have a 2/3, 1/3 blend, right? I have 2/3 of the course delivered face-to-face and 1/3 of it online. And so what I've decided to do is I've decided to put a lot of my content, a lot of my lecture into that 1 hour space. Okay. I teach through the topics and on the online space. And then when we come into the classroom, we try to make it a little more active, try to make it a little more group oriented where we're actually putting that into play. So I'll give you a specific example of that so you can think about that yourself. So in the Math 45 class, we spend a lot of time at the beginning of the course talking about voting and just go with that for a second. All right. And so I give them a lot of the theory and a lot of the techniques that they can look at online. They can interact with it. They can answer questions online, get immediate feedback from the computer. When we come to the classroom, we do simulations. We do actual votes in different ways, individual voting. We do preferential voting. And then when we do something that's called weighted voting, I simulate that as well, give everybody a weight, and we do some actual voting in the class. So the classroom becomes a little more interactive. And so what I wanted to think about, and by the way, some content I don't deliver online because I think I'll give you a specific example of that. Some of the times that I use Excel or Sheets, I find that we do a little bit better when I'm in there in the classroom with them. I have everybody bring their laptop and I have everybody go through the formulaic process there, and I do a little one-on-one with them. So that kind of content that's very technical in nature, I think it's better in the classroom rather than me just doing it once online, because everybody has their own device. So you need to think about what content could or should be flipped and why. What is the reason for that? And then and lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is if you do flip some of the content to the online space, how are you certain that it was communicated? How am I certain right now that the words that I'm saying to you have been received by you? And so I think that we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. But even this experience that you're having right now is a little bit of what I feel is an answer. All right, so flipped learning. I hope that you embrace it at least at some level, and hope you enjoy the rest of the Hybrid Academy. See you guys soon.